Right. Here's the thing. One question. Well, I'm flickering. There we are. I'll try and keep. There we are. That's it. Right. Here's the thing. I want to know, or I don't want to know, that our next speaker would love to, well, maybe not love to know, but here's the thing. Think about this. Is your business a boring business? I don't know that. Only you know that. Next session now. That's what he wants to ask you and let you think about that. Let's find out more about all of this from JumpstartHR CEO Joey Price. Joey, are you there?
I am. Thanks so much for having me.
How you doing, Joey? Good? You good?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Can you
Right,
hear me
where
okay?
are you, Joey? Love to know where you are right now.
Well, I realize that I'm closing the keynote in the afternoon, but it's morning time here in the States. I am in Maryland in the United States, which is just outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay, it's early morning there? Or
Yeah,
what?
it's 10:43 in the morning right now.
I thought when you said early morning, I was expecting like 4 o'clock in the morning, but 10 o'clock, listen, 10 o'clock, you've had a chance already to have a coffee maybe, or have some waffles or whatever you have for breakfast over there. I don't know. But listen,
That's right.
I'm going to leave it over to you now. And if there are any questions at the end, they'll bring me back in and we can have a little bit of an exchange with some questions. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect. Thanks, Peter. All right, so today I want to talk to you. And first of all, I'm so thrilled that I'm here. I'm so thrilled that you're here. I understand that this is a record number of attendees here at HR Week. So if this is your first time attending, would love for you just to shout out in the chat, that this is my first time. I'm here to close out the people-centric day for HR Week. So naturally, I want to give you some takeaways and some inspiration on how to build a business that is not boring. Now, if we think about the idea of the word boring, right, we may think of mundane, routine, uninspiring. And so as we go through the keynote today, just ask yourself about your business. Are you building a boring business? Because if you are, the good news is that you can go from boring to inspiring so that you are able to create a winning workforce that is engaged, that is productive, and that is committed to staying in your organization for the long haul. And when we think about the day of an employee, have you ever thought about your employee's day? Not their task, not their to-do list, not the strategic goals that they're working towards, but honestly, what does their life look like outside of work? And what does it take to even get into the office? We know that many people have the privilege of working remotely. However, that isn't the case for everyone. So what does it take for the person who is working in office to get to your place of work? Well, first of all, the mornings come away too early, right? They're probably hitting snooze on their alarm for one time, two times, three times. I kid you not. On my phone, where my alarm is, I actually will have two alarms. There's the time that I say that I want to wake up, and then there's the time where, if I'm being honest with myself, that's when I'm really going to get up. But that's when I have to get up in order to make things happen. So, there's the early morning start time. Why is there the early morning start time? Maybe there are little ones that and you can't just go to work, but you have to prepare your little ones for preschool or daycare or elementary school, or even seeing the older ones off to the bus. And so getting up in the morning, it's not just about uh, hitting the snooze button, taking a shower, making your coffee or your waffles, and making your way into the office. But there are other people that you have to take care of, right? And so that's one aspect of it. You send your kids to school, and then maybe there's the morning commute. there's that time where you're jumping in and saying, all right, I've got to, you know, quite frankly, risk my health and safety because I am traveling in a group of people in close proximity, and we just recently got out of this COVID pandemic, and so that's still a thing. That's still a concern for a lot of people. But hey, maybe even if you are lucky enough to drive into work, there's still traffic, right? There's still those drivers on the road who haven't had their cup of coffee and they don't know how to make the appropriate turns. And so you find yourself in the midst of chaos just trying to get to work. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about what it takes to get people into work, into the office? And then once that happens, work can finally begin. Okay, so you've had the early start, you had to potentially get kids ready and out the door for school. You've braved your commute, and I didn't even talk about the expense of a commute, but you've braved it nonetheless. And now you're at work. Well, when people check into your office, they already are fighting things that would lead them to be distracted, disengaged, unenthused. And so, really, it's our job as employers, if we want to have an engaged workforce, we should be thinking about the day to day experience and the commute in, the commute home, and think what is it that we can do to shape a positive workplace here at our place of employment. And there's been a big shift. There's been a total shift that's happened with our work, but no surprise, employee engagement is low. It's low here in the United States and Canada. It's low in Asia, it's lowest in Europe. And so when we look at the idea of wanting to build great businesses that aren't boring, when we want to create businesses that are inspiring, that give employees a sense of belonging, that give employees a place where they want to contribute, that give employees a sense of being able to push past all of those distractions that happen before they get into the office and work the 8 hours, the 9 hours that they need to be successful. What should we be doing? What should we be doing? Right? Like I said, it's no surprise that employee engagement is low. You've probably heard that all throughout the day today. I'm just here to remind you that there has to be a total shift of our approach to leading the people operations in our business and leading human resources so that these numbers can start to trend in a more positive direction. And of course, some things aren't the fault of you as the employer, right? We don't run our commuting systems. We don't know, or we didn't have influence in the health pandemic that we just went through. But the thing that we can control is our workplace. And so I wanted to just share that the biggest shift, the total shift is not that employees are disengaged. We know that they're bored, they're uninspired, they're doing tedious tasks. They are maybe in a 5 day work environment that could be a 4 day work environment, or they're working in office when they would much rather prefer to work at home. These are some of the challenges that amount to a boring business. But do you know what the shift is? The real shift is that employees actually have more options. It's no longer the case where if an employee is disgruntled or uninspired or unenthused, that they have a responsibility to their life and to themselves and to their families to stay at an employer where they don't feel a sense of belonging or inspiration or anything of that nature. It is way easier for them to find a job at another location that might be down the street, as well as find a job that could be that would allow them to work remotely in another country. We are seeing a rise in the entrepreneurial spirit. So there are more individuals who are saying, hey, instead of going to work at an employer that is uninspiring, I want to go out and start my own web development firm or marketing agency or social media firm or even human resources consulting agency. More individuals are finding that the barrier to entry to pursue other opportunities outside of a boring business, the barrier has never been lower than it is right now. And so I want us to just do a quick inventory of, well, what is boredom? I'm talking around this word. I'm teasing it. I'm giving you the narrative of the employee and their day-to-day experience. But what does that really look like in practice? And if this is your organization, I don't want you to call it out in the chat, right? I don't want you to put them on blast. But what I do want you to do is hang tight because we have some solutions and some thought provoking commentary that will help you go from boring to inspiring. And yes, you can do it. Your organization can do it. So, what is boredom at work? Boredom at work begins with an uninspiring MVV. Now, what is an MVV? It's an acronym. I made it up, but it stands for your mission, vision, and values. Organizations without a compelling mission, vision, or values will not be able to attract a radically committed workforce. What do I mean by that? If you are unable to give it or create an emotional attachment between your employees and the goals of the organization, you will find it incredibly difficult to have a workforce that is committed and committed at a level of commitment that would allow you to keep your team engaged. I can think of an example, right? So at our organization, we say that we want to help build workplace cultures where people are more excited about Monday than they are about Friday. And what that means is when we say that we want to create cultures where employees are more excited about Monday than Friday, that means we want people who are more excited about going to work than the weekend. And I know that that's highly aspirational. I know that it would be a very high uphill battle for many organizations. But if we can just get companies to think about being inspiring, uh, having a great workplace, creating space for employees to bring their own goals and aspirations, then we're on to something and we're able to make an impact. So you want to make sure that you have a compelling mission, vision, or values because this is what employees are signing up to identify with. They want to know the values because that's how you make your decisions. They want to know the vision because that's the ultimate world that you're looking to create for your team and for your clients. And then your mission is, hey, what's everybody's part in making the vision a reality? There's a question that came up that said, if I could give one piece of advice for HR fellows about how to inspire and lead, what would it be? I'll do a two-parter. I would say the first thing is to find a business leader that is either in HR or not that inspires you, and then model that behavior in the organization that you currently lead. And you may not be a leader by title, but if you are leading and carrying yourself well, you will lead through influence. And so, even if you don't have a title of manager, director, whatever the case may be, leading through your actions is a great way to inspire others to follow your lead, right? And how do you get that? You find people that are inspiring to you, and you copy them, you mimic them, You read what they read. You get to know the why and how they think, and that will help you be inspiring. All right, let's go ahead and transition into the next thing, that is boredom. Boredom is also unnecessary friction. So, what I mean by unnecessary friction is when you have outdated technology or systems that create more work or more frustration. Um, we're not here and I'm not giving a message that employees should not have work. What I'm saying is the best use of your employee time is actually being productive, is creating solutions, it's having positive relationships with their team members and managers. And so if they have to always find ways around friction, um, do things manually that could be done through more efficient technology, you're not going to be able to engage a committed workforce, because it's those things that are going to force them to check out, or it's those things that are going to require them to not be thrilled. Um, in my organization, this was a big issue, because, and it wasn't so much the technology piece, but it was the way that we were running our business. In our organization, we have unlimited PTO, but there was something about the system of having unlimited PTO in a place where we have billable hours, that uh, you could take as much time as you wanted away from work, but you knew when you got back, you still had to work the total number of hours that you had committed to for the month. And so that was stressful. That created unnecessary friction, where if we were better at reallocating work while someone goes out, then they didn't have to come back into the office, and or well, we're remote, so come back and log into their system and chip away at those hours that they ignored or set to the side while they were either on leisure vacation, sick leave, or maybe even caring for someone in their family. So it wasn't until we updated the system of having a member on our team whose sole job is to help alleviate the number of billable hours that a person has on our team, that we found better success and we eliminated friction. So something you could do about the friction is think about what are the pain points that people have in executing their task, executing their job, and just find ways to eliminate those. All right. The last thing that boredom is minimal career pathing. So when someone shows up to your organization and they're a new hire, it's pretty clear what it is that you would want them to accomplish, right? You want them to learn your systems, you want them to meet your customers, and you want them to produce and produce well, because that's what you hired them for. Well, what happens at year two when they've mastered those skills? Or year four when they're looking to position themselves to a next tier of responsibility, or maybe even a next tier of leadership or management? If you're an organization who does not give much thought to an employee's next step, then it's going to be hard to retain a committed workforce. Okay, notice I'm using different aspects of people centric HR to address boredom in your business. Okay, so an example might be if you have either help desk technicians, or if you have electricians. Um, what what would keep an electrician in your organization for 5 years, for 10 years? Is it making the same pay and having the same duties at year seven that they did at year one? Probably not, because research has shown that many people leave employers because they want to pursue opportunities of growth and development. And there was a session earlier today that focused on upskilling and reskilling employees. Upskilling and reskilling is all about the career pathing. It's all about making sure that you are creating a plan for your team members so that they can continue to be productive and engaged and committed to your organization. So we've got uninspiring mission, vision, and values, unnecessary friction, and minimal career pathing. Now, the total shift, the shift that's required, is shifting our perspective to have an inspiring mission, vision, and values, to upgrade our processes and our tech stacks, and to plan for the employee journey. So, an inspiring mission, vision, and values. That's organizations that have a compelling mission, vision, and value, so you can attract the radically committed workforce who believes in what your organization does. So that is where you have the in person who reads on a job description your mission, your goals, your values, your beliefs, and they say, I don't even need to take a look at the job description. I know that I want to work at this place of employment because I am so captivated by how they work and what they believe. That's an inspiring mission, vision, and value. And you can put it on job descriptions, you can put it on websites, you can put it on social media, and that's where you'll see the difference. Reduced workplace friction. This is where you evaluate things like, hey, what does our employees' day look like in the morning, and what pain points do they have along the way? Could we perhaps move our infrastructure into the cloud so that if a person has a rough morning, they can telework in the beginning and then make their way into the office? Or can we upgrade our tech stack so that our team members are able to at least respond to email or move projects forward through apps on their phone? And we have the security in place to make sure that they're doing that effectively. When you reduce the workplace friction, that allows you to have a total shift. And then the last thing is the career pathing. So we talked about upskilling and reskilling, but giving thought to the employee's next step is a way to make the total shift so that you don't have a boring business. And that's my presentation for today. Thank you so much. Peter, I see you. So we're going to go ahead and move. But if you want to scan, that's the way that you can connect with me on my LinkedIn.
Okay, let's keep that up. Let's keep that up just for a second. Anyone who wants to scan that right now, they can do that. But all that leaves me to say is, listen, Joe, thank you so much. Hopefully now we've kind of thought to ourselves how boring. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody's boring. Please don't take that. However, maybe the boring parts of what we're doing, maybe we can think about those, rethink, and see how we can maybe make them less boring and add a little bit of inspiration and excitement back into the work that we do. Listen, Joey, thank you so much. Enjoy your full day. We're coming to the end of ours here in Europe, but thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you again.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Cheerio. Take care.